The atmosphere was electric in the packed auditorium, filled with political figures, journalists, and industry leaders, all eager to hear from J.D. Vance. It was a crucial moment that could define his future. J.D. took the stage confidently, with his wife Usha Vance sitting among the crowd near Elon Musk, who was a special guest. J.D. began his speech with a mix of policy and conviction, discussing the economy, American families, and the need for leadership that listens. The audience responded with applause, and J.D. fed off their energy. But as he began wrapping up, his tone became more personal. He spoke about believing in something bigger than politics in truth, and speaking up even when it's uncomfortable. As he concluded, he thanked the crowd and stepped away from the microphone, thinking it had been a solid speech. However, as he was leaving the stage, Usha stood up and began walking toward the podium, catching everyone's attention. She walked deliberately to the stage, and J.D., noticing the change in the room, turned just in time to see her reach for his microphone. Without making a scene, she took it from him, and J.D., caught off guard, stepped aside. The room fell silent as Usha adjusted the mic and began speaking. She explained that she wasn't scheduled to speak, but after hearing everything, she realized there was more that needed to be addressed. The moment was powerful and unexpected, and the entire room was captivated by what she would say next. She wasn't just filling space. She was about to say something that needed to be said. "I want to take a moment to talk about something that isn't discussed nearly enough," she began, her voice calm but firm. "We hear a lot of talk about leadership, principles, and standing up for what's right, but here's the truth. Too often, when it's time to act, when decisions are being made behind closed doors, too many people stay silent." The air in the room tightened as J.D., seated in the front row, watched with an unreadable expression, while Musk smirked slightly, intrigued, but not yet reacting. Usha let the silence linger before continuing. "We elect leaders because we believe they will fight for us, because we believe their convictions are more than just talking points. But what happens when the cameras are off, when the real decisions are made? How many of them are willing to take a stand when no one is watching?" A few people shifted in their seats, some nodding, others glancing at one another, wondering where this was going. Usha wasn't attacking J.D. or anyone directly, but she was making people uncomfortable. "The truth is, we can't afford to be complacent," she continued. "And that goes for everyone. The people on this stage, the people in this audience, the people, you watching at home. It's not enough to talk about change. We have to demand it, and we have to hold our leaders accountable when they fall short." J.D. exhaled slowly, listening without interrupting. This was her moment. Musk leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, watching carefully. Usha let her final words land with precision. "If leadership means anything, it means showing up, not just when it's convenient, not just when it's easy, but when it actually matters." She stepped back from the mic, letting the weight of her words settle. The room was silent, the kind of silence that follows something completely unexpected. Usha had spoken without notes or warning, and now everyone was trying to process it. J.D. remained still, his expression unreadable, while Musk stayed silent, arms crossed, studying Usha as if she were a fascinating equation he hadn't solved yet. The audience didn't know whether to clap or wait for J.D. to react first. Finally, after a few seconds, J.D. leaned forward slightly, still in shock, while Musk, sensing something, smirked and whispered, "Did you know she was going to do that?" J.D. shook his head, still not rushing to the stage. Usha, having made her point, stood there quietly, hands clasped in front of her, neither backing down nor gloating. The event organizers, unsure how to proceed, eventually resumed with the next speaker. The moment, however, wouldn't be forgotten. J.D. leaned back, tapping, his finger lightly on the armrest, still in shock. Musk, still smirking, turned to him and asked, "So, what happens now?" J.D. didn't answer. He wasn't sure. The weight of the moment lingered. Usha hadn't stormed off the stage nor overstayed her welcome. She had simply stood there, letting the gravity of her words settle. She wasn't looking for applause, and that made it all the more powerful.